The maintenance bay of station Kepler 7 hummed with the dying echoes of another shift change. Marcus Chen watched the last of the day crew disappear through the airlock, their faces etched with the same defeated expression he'd seen for weeks. The Zephyrian overseers had made it clear: fix the phantom power drain plaguing the station's fusion cores or find new employment, preferably somewhere far from Zephyrian space. 7 maintenance teams had quit in the past month. The problem was invisible, intermittent, and apparently unsolvable. Every diagnostic came back clean. Every system showed green. Yet somehow, the station was hemorrhaging 15 million credits worth of energy per cycle, enough to power a small colony for a year. Marcus rolled up his sleeves and activated his work terminal. At 43, he was old for a human in this line of work, but he'd learned long ago that sometimes the best solutions came from the most stubborn minds. While his alien colleagues possessed superior technology and advanced degrees from prestigious Galactic Institute campuses, Marcus had something different. 30 years of fixing things that weren't supposed to break. The Zephyrians had installed their latest diagnostic suite just last week. A quantum-entangled sensor array that could supposedly detect energy fluctuations at the molecular level. It was beautiful technology, elegant in its complexity. It was also completely useless for this particular problem. Marcus pulled up the station schematics on his tablet, but instead of the official blueprints, he accessed the maintenance logs. Real maintenance logs. The kind written by humans who actually crawled through the ducts and replaced the components, the kind of logs that mentioned the weird vibration in junction C7, or the fact that panel 12 alpha never quite sat flush after the last refit. 3 hours into his shift, Marcus found something interesting, not in the quantum diagnostics or the energy flow charts, but in a complaint filed 8 months ago by a sanitation worker named Torres. The complaint was about a weird humming sound coming from the waste recycling sector during off-peak hours. The report had been filed under minor noise complaint and promptly forgotten. Marcus made his way to waste processing, his toolkit clanking softly in the artificial gravity. The Zephyrians had designed this section of the station with their typical efficiency: clean lines, automated systems, and absolutely no consideration for the fact that humans might need to actually service the equipment. He squeezed through, a maintenance hatch barely wide enough for his shoulders, and found himself in a crawl space that definitely wasn't on any official schematic. Here, wedged between the primary waste processor and the atmospheric recycler, was a junction box that looked like it had been installed as an afterthought. The box was warm. Too warm. Marcus popped it open and immediately saw the problem. Someone, probably, during the station's construction 5 years ago, had jury-rigged a power coupling to bypass a faulty relay. It was crude work, the kind of quick fix that gets you through a deadline but creates problems down the line. The bypass was slowly degrading, creating resistance that converted massive amounts of energy into waste heat. But that wasn't the clever part. The clever part was that the degradation was cyclical, tied to the station's waste processing schedule. When the big recyclers kicked in during night shift, when most of the diagnostic teams were asleep, the extra load caused the bypass to heat up and bleed energy. By morning, everything had cooled down and returned to normal parameters. The Zephyrians. Quantum sensors were designed to detect exotic energy signatures and temporal anomalies. They couldn't see a simple resistive load hidden in a wall, especially one that only activated when triggered by perfectly mundane industrial equipment. Marcus chuckled as he powered down the bypass and rerouted the connection through a proper relay from his toolkit. 15 million credits of energy loss, caused by 20 credits worth of shoddy electrical work, and solved with a 10-minute repair job. He filed his report at Aero 347 station time. By morning, the energy readings had stabilized completely. The phantom drain was gone. When Station Commander Jektal called him into the office the next day, Marcus expected the usual Zephyrian ceremony, formal acknowledgement, a commendation for his personnel file, maybe even a small bonus. Instead, He found himself facing 3 Zephyrian engineers and a holographic display showing his repair work. "We have reviewed your methodology," Commander Jektal said, her translator rendering, her chittering speech into precise galactic standard. "We are curious how you succeeded where our most advanced diagnostic systems failed." Marcus shrugged. "I read the complaint logs. Someone heard a weird noise. I went and looked." The engineers exchanged glances, their compound eyes shifting in what Marcus had learned to recognize as confusion. But the quantum sensor array indicated no anomalies in that sector. "Sure," Marcus said, "but quantum sensors can't hear things, and they can't feel heat through a wall. Sometimes the best diagnostic tool is just paying attention to what doesn't feel right." Commander Jektal made a note on her datapad. "We will be implementing new protocols based on your approach. Human intuitive maintenance will be integrated into our standard diagnostic procedures." As Marcus left the commander's office, he passed a bulletin board where the day shift was posting their new assignments. At the top, in both Zephyrian script and Galactic Standard, was a notice. All maintenance teams will now conduct physical inspections based on historical complaint logs before deploying advanced diagnostic equipment. Marcus smiled. Sometimes, the old ways were still the best ways. Sometimes you didn't need quantum entanglement to solve a problem. You just needed someone willing to crawl into a cramped space and look at what everyone else had missed. In a galaxy full of exotic technologies and impossible sciences, humanity's greatest contribution might just be the stubborn refusal to accept that a problem was unsolvable until someone had actually gotten their hands dirty trying to fix it. The night shift stretched ahead of him, quiet and full of Poe.